Matt.
Hello, Brian.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I feel like there's more than just the two of us here.
There is somebody else here. Who is this other person? It's MJ Bagan. Hi, MJ. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you all?
I think we're good. I always have to ask this, Brian. Is the stuff you're going to share today going to make me scared? Then I'll know how I am.
I think that the stuff today, not as scary, but maybe a little more on the irritating, ridiculous side.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
We'll see. We'll see, though. I can never quite tell.
That's good. So what we're going to do then is we want to just let everybody know about a little bit about you, MJ. You're here on purpose. You got a skill set and an intention toward your career that meant for you that AI, having this discussion was important to you. And that's why we're happy you're here. Can you tell us, what do you do? Who are you?
So yes, I'm not Zoom bombing. I am here on purpose. And I am a writer, an illustrator. I am a professor at Rhode Island School of Design. I am also the internship advisor at Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD. And I am the chair of illustration and associate professor at Collins University, the writing and illustration program, MFA program, that you will be joining us with next year, Matt, next summer. And I also teach online with Creative Live and LinkedIn Learning. I teach illustration classes, and I work online with students around the world for different aspects of art and illustration. I think that's all.
Thank you. And I feel bad. I should have asked you this before we actually got online. Do you have any imagery lined up that you could share with us?
Yes, I do.
Oh, thank you, MJ. Saving Matt.
Yeah.
No, I made a little tiny PowerPoint of like 5 slides or 6 slides. So
Cool.
All right. I'm going to screen share if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, screen sharing. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yay. So I'll just make this quick, but basically I have been doing writing and illustrating books for probably 15 to 20 years and illustrating them for way more than that. I won't say how long, but most of my career has been illustrating books, particularly picture books, and also doing advertising work for much of my career. But recently I pivoted because I just, you want to do something different and new. And I did this painting for a show in Massachusetts that was honoring the 50th anniversary of Dr. Seuss. And they said, you can do whatever you want. So I combined my 2 heroes. That was including Vermeer. So I put Vermeer, Dr. Seuss together and came up with this painting. And I had such a good time doing it. It was in the show. It won a number of different awards, 3x3, Society of Illustrators West, etc. I was like, I think I'm onto something here. I think I need to do more with this. And so I started to take a figure drawing class, and I loved it. It was just so engaging and so much fun. And I focused on the face because I love the face. And that led me to a recent project that's totally self-motivated. I did not get a commission for it. I started to work on a series of imagery, paintings. I won't call them illustrations because I don't know what they are, of characters from a book called The Woodwife by Terry Windling. It's a very well-known fantasy novelist. She's won a bunch of awards, and she wrote this book called The Woodwife, and I fell in love with the book and the characters described in it. There were no illustrations. So I decided to do portraits in a sort of Renaissance-inspired way of these characters. And so I start with a pencil drawing and then transfer them to a watercolor surface, and then do acrylic and then oil paints on top of that. So this has also garnered awards from American Illustration, Society of Illustrators West, and also got shortlisted for CA. So I was like, okay, the outside world thinks this is kind of cool. I should keep doing this. So I started doing some of the other characters. This is the Night Mage. And this is all graphite. It's going to be turned into an oil painting. It'll be transferred onto a surface and oil painted. And this is charcoal and graphite. This is the Wind Mage. And then the one I just did last week, this is the Wood Mage or the Woodwife. And this is just a close-up detail on the right. This is all graphite. So this is the most recent work that I'm doing. I'm having a blast doing it. My hands are still dirty to show I was working today. And I think that's it. I'll escape and stop sharing. There.
Wow.
That's beautiful
Oh,
work. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Character design work is, I saw some of it on your social networking posts, and yeah, it's blowing me away. I'm pretty self-centered. I didn't know if you knew. But when I know that when when somebody like really impresses me, I want to turn everything off and go do my own work. So I'm sitting there looking at those things and go, oh crap, I want to go draw. I got to go do it.
Right now.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
beautiful work, honestly.
Oh, your lighting is so good. Your lighting and texture and color palettes. Excellent.
Thank you. I'm obsessed with light. Yeah, look at it's right over there. I just started a new one today. And yeah, I'm starting but light. Yeah, I can't not think about light. I try to make something that's linear, and then I'm always focused on, I have to see the light.
And so I have one question for you in terms of technique.
Yeah.
It looked like on the rabbit's fur, some of those, the highlights look like they're applied paint, and then other ones actually almost started to look like they're lifted off, like they're scratched off, like a scratch board. So was that happening, both of those, or just one or the other?
So when I'm working with the graphite, I am subtracting back to white paper. And I actually have, that's gray tone paper over there. And I took a piece of penny bond paper, that really cheapy, crappy paper that I love because it has lots of fibers. And I tone the whole thing with a toilet paper roll with graphite that I've ground down and rub it all over it. And then I can erase out the light. So that's the subtractive part. Then I print it on watercolor paper, mount it, tone it, and then layer color with watercolor, seal it, then do acrylic and watercolor layers, then oil paint. So there's no scratching into like scratch board or lifted once I've sealed it. It's all additive tone, but it's built. So it feels, I want it to feel like there's some kind of space between what's in light and what's in shadow. That makes any sense.
Yeah, awesome. I love the workshop talk, too. But we're here for a purpose. Brian, and again, thank you, Mary Jane. That's MJ. That's and I'm gonna probably slip into calling you your other name because it just.
You can call me whatever you want. Fine. Mary
No,
Jane.
but also because you and I went to school together at RISD for a while, so that's the name I knew you by then. So I don't look the way that I do then, but you still do. So I don't know how that works. But anyway,
Thank you.
Just keep it real. All right, Brian, what do you got?
I got a couple things. A couple, and it's not too long. One thing I wanted to show. Let me get it. Go ahead and fire this up. So we've talked about AI and robots in the past. So there was just a new update with we showed the Tesla robot, the one that's going to be available for anybody to buy. They just released a new clip of it, and its abilities and dexterity. When you combine the AI with robotics, it's kind of nutty. So I just thought it doesn't. At first, you might think, oh, that's not so impressive, but when you look at what it's actually doing, it's pretty crazy. So let me share this screen. And you may have already seen this, but there is the Tesla robot. And it can fold clothes. You might think, oh, big deal. But the dexterity and the ability to do that just is something that hasn't been seen before with robotics. So, and if you're familiar with the Tesla robot, this is going to be something that's soon to be available for anybody to have in their house. And it's a multi-purpose thing. So one of the other videos we showed it actually cracking and cooking an egg. So there's that. And then get this going. So this fine fellow, and I will include a link when I post this to this guy's channel, but he went to CES, and he's actually, let me make sure I've got my let me make sure I got my shared sound on this one, because I want his commentary to come through. So he went to the Consumer Electronics Show, and everything was AI. AI was being put into everything. So
This AI pillow. This AI pillow from Motion Sleep. This AI mattress from Derucci. This AI office chair from Backrobo. They had AI fridges and AI washers and dryers from Samsung. AI smart lamps from Nobi. AI grills from Sear Grills. AI barbecues from Neoseer. AI cooking gear like AI pressure cookers and food processors and air fryers. AI stethoscopes for doctors. AI bird feeders from Birdify. AI bird feeders from Zinvo. AI telescopes like this one from Celestron here. AI backpacks with programmable faces and stuff. AI cosmetic companies. And how can we forget the Hyper AI box from Hyper Appliance, which actually probably does something pretty cool, but I didn't learn much about it while I was at the event. One of my favorite AI tools that I came across was this Time Kettle tool, which is actually a real-time translator where I can say something into this box in English, and then it will translate it automatically in almost real time to whatever language the person you're talking to speaks, and vice versa. So you can have full conversations with somebody in a different language just by speaking with this box. There's also a couple earpieces, which you can see kind of sliding out on the end, where one person can take the earpiece, the other person could take their earpiece, and you can have a back and forth conversation, each speaking your native language. This AI pillow,
okay. So
Oh my God.
I want that snore pillow, and I won't say why.
okay. And
So,
yeah, and we in another episode too, we showed like the Boston Dynamics robot. I don't know, MJ, if you've seen the Boston Dynamics dog robots.
Yes.
But yeah, so they put Chat GPT in it, and so they could converse with it, and they had it converse in the personality of a snooty butler. But it was also able to see. So with the AI in the robotics, it knew what was in the room. It could explain things. It's crazy.
what just happened?
You hit a balloon button of some kind,
No,
or
I
you
did
said
not.
Oh,
No, it's
You-
an automatic thing. It's in Zoom, so that if you have a certain
Keyword?
view, it's called I'm looking to see here where this thing is. I just found out about it, but it's keywords can kick off certain like emoji, active
Right.
emoji things.
it's
Yeah.
just the Zoom AI listening to us.
But I didn't say anything. Honest, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, but you may have looked a certain way, or
Like, you look at your
gestured.
eyes.
You could have
Yeah.
gestured. That would do it too.
I didn't do it. I didn't do anything.
You gestured, Matt. I know you did.
All right.
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so I'm asking both of you, what would be the purpose of okay, first of all, understanding what AI is, right? We've read the articles, we've had our, prepared for this. Then also, like, why would you put it in a bird feeder? Like, what's the purpose?
I'll tell you, because if you a bird would land in the bird feeder, the AI would recognize what kind of bird it was, and then it would send you information about that bird to wherever you are, even if you're not home, and you can watch and analyze the birds and their behavior and learn all about them as they're landing in your bird feeder.
So that's the aspect of AI, right?
AI
That
is
capable of taking information, processing it, not just sending me videos and saying a bird landed. We don't know what it is, but here you should look at it.
right. That way you don't ever have to actually go and look at the bird feeder in real life. You can just look
Who
at
would
the
want to do
AI
that?
information about the bird feeder somewhere else.
Okay. So, all right, then MJ, you said you like the pillow.
Yes, like the
Why-
idea of the pillow.
The idea. Yes, because why would you personally, you don't need that. But why would somebody need AI in a pillow for snoring?
Well, presumably if it keeps the person from snoring or activates something to get them to stop snoring, might be very beneficial for a partner who's constantly woken up by that snorer. It's like, you have those little things on the nose. If there's something in that pillow, and I don't know what it is, a zap, it's probably an electrode that zaps them while they're sleeping. And
Some turn. Yeah.
right. Could be as barbaric as that, but I would be curious about that because it's affecting maybe something that you need. Like it's like more medical than anything else, because snoring can be really problematic with couples if one is a snorer. It can also be problematic if you stop breathing, if you have sleep apnea. So I find that I'm curious about, that's about the only thing there that I was like, ooh, I want to know more about that.
It could also be that the pillow, it just is able to tell you things while you're sleeping.
It could be that ineffective. Because I wanted to stop it snoring, not just tell me about it. I already know.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be like I snore. I don't think it can be mechanical. Like I know that I don't snore so much on my side as I do when I'm lying on my back. It can't make me roll over onto my
It could
side.
prompt you, though. It could give you a little jolt, or it could, if there's mechanics inside it, it could sort of tilt so that it makes your head go to the side. Who knows?
Do I want that kind of?
They're putting AI in everything is the gist. So, yeah.
Holy smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bird feeder seems weird, and some of those things seem like if it substitutes the real experience, I think that's where I find it problematic, and that circles back to creativity when it circumvents your physical connection to the thing you're doing or making or experiencing. How is that beneficial is my question if it substitutes it. If it augments that experience, interesting, potentially, but not if it substitutes it.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, so like one of the things they showed was the AI in the grill, and I did see what that is all about, and it can sense everything about what's being cooked on it, and then you talk to it and give it feedback on how it was cooked, and then it adjusts for the next time it cooks. Is that good or bad? I don't know. It kind of, for me, somebody who likes to cook, part of the experience of cooking is experimenting, seeing what happens, the process of it. And this kind of short circuits that, to your point.
Well, it also addresses the whole, well, who's going to do the cooking from now on? Everywhere. Because if I can go into a place that I like to eat, and I know that it's got recorded all of the things that I like to eat and the way I like them cooked, why do I need a chef? Why does a human being need to be on the other side of the grill?
Yeah. Well, and the Tesla robot it's got the dexterity to do that. There's other cooking robots. I don't know if you've seen them. I think we showed one that's not humanoid built, but is built to just be able to wheel around the kitchen and grab all this stuff and cook everything.
Well, the one that also could pour drinks. I saw that the one bar.
Yep. So
the question, I want to circle back to what you just said, which is it removes the process for you. Like if you like to cook, I love to cook. Right. If you're taking out the process, which brings the pleasure of the process, but it removes that for you, maybe it's faster or more efficient or in some way beneficial in another way. But if the process is linked to the joy or the pleasure, why do we want to remove that?
Yes.
I think what people would say is you're removing that so that you can then go do other things that you really want to do. I would say this is all going to be really interesting to see what this does to people. Will they do that? Is that what's going to happen? Is that what's going to, if you don't have to do all these other things and it makes everything easy, maybe people will. Maybe if I don't have to cook, I'll go do something else I really want to do. But then again, how would I ever know that I really like to cook if I don't have to?
What will be left to go and enjoy to do
Right.
if everything is made easy for you to do?
Because you can go and do your own art. Except
Yeah,
that
but if AI
do
can
that
do it
too.
for me. Yeah, but just talking to the machine and say, okay, make me a painting in the style of, Vermeer and put it in on the beach. If I can just speak into a machine, then it also removes the process of the making of the art, where I would have to say the joy of it is, and also the experience of learning and growing is in that process. If you remove the process as an educator, I can tell you it circumvents learning. And learning experience equals growth and ideas and invention. So you know where I stand.
How would you feel then as a teacher, knowing that there are plans in the works for developing AI constructs for individual students, so that an AI teacher could address a particular student's needs far more closely than another this is the idea, I think.
Yeah.
Other human being
Just read
could.
about that. Yeah. I've just read about that. And it's being used for students who have disabilities and issues that are more easily addressed by someone who's, something that's curating that education. I would say that you cannot substitute a human being's intuitive response to another human being, but you can augment it. I can see augmenting a human connection and utilizing these kinds of tools to make it's not binary, it's not siloed, one or the other. If you can utilize both, why wouldn't you? So I think that's a really interesting thing, and I would embrace it and celebrate it, but not as a substitution for a human being who is interacting in a physical realm with a student in front of them.
Well,
So-
if you think about some classrooms, they're not ideal. So, if you've got a large classroom and the teacher doesn't really get any one-on-one time with the student, and everybody has to kind of be taught to the same way, and the teaching has to kind of come down to the level of the slowest student, etc., that's where proponents of AI will say, well, it's going to be way better than that.
But the people who,
But I totally agree with you that humans are built to interact with other people. So I think if you're going to lose that, but then again, there's some schools and some classrooms where you're not really getting in much interaction other than sitting there and listening and being one of 100 or whatever. But
well, the only problem too, another big problem, the people who are detractors from the AI in the classroom is that you're creating a kind of bias because you're trying to curate, like Google does and like Facebook does. It curates for our interests and it curates for who we are, quote unquote. But then it eliminates things that maybe we should know about, even if we're not that interested. But then we discover that we're interested because we've been exposed to it. So my concern in terms of the content would be that would happen exponentially. And ChatGPT has shown us that they make stuff up. So it's not a perfect system at this point in time. I would be very leery of throwing that into classrooms at this point. It's not ready. And I think that without the observation and oversight of an educator who understands how to deal with human beings and can see where problems might arise, they could tweak that information. Say, well, you need more of this. The machine might not. It's going to focus on what you're interested in. It may not challenge you in the way that an actual human mind might say, well, wait, you need these things because it's not obvious and it's not data driven. That would be my response to that. I think it's interesting, but I think it could not be leave them alone in a room with a box. I don't think that makes sense.
And then when we get to the point where it can simulate a human being and you can't tell the difference.
You mean a robot, like the Tesla robot gets?
A robot or a hologram or a video.
Okay. Right there. Okay. If it's not like data from Star Trek, one of my favorite shows is Star Trek Next Generation. If it doesn't look that real, it doesn't have a kind of a soul, then I'm talking to you guys on the screen right now. It's glass. right? We can't communicate, like, I don't know what it smells like in the rooms you're in. There's no sense of touch, or all those senses we utilize to learn, to grow, to experience, to express. You can't do that if you don't have even a stylus in your hand on you're not touching anything, you're not experiencing it in real time. So I personally think that when and I'll swing back to creative people, when we get away from that, it affects our mental health, because we're humans. If we're constantly on the screen, and it's proven, there's so much documented about your screen time, you're on the computer, you're on the phone, you're not in a space with real people. Look what happened in COVID. People hunger to be in a space with real people, to experience the tangible physical energy of another human or animal in their physical space. And with art, I think it's the same reason. It's the reason why I like to get my hands dirty. And I think everybody should periodically get their hands dirty, because it keeps it real, literally keeps it real. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
I've talked with Matt about this before. So I've been in computer graphics since the late 80s. And a lot of the people other computer graphics people, the older they get, the more they start going back into the tradition. Yeah.
Well, my experience has been with the students, actually, that's, well, and Matt, you're going to say something, so I'll pause that, but what were you going to say?
No, I want to hear what you were going to say about the students, please.
So the students that I've experienced, so in the last 5 to 7 years, the use of digital media has risen exponentially, so that very few students are painting or drawing with a pencil. They're all using, a tablet, an iPad tablet, or they're using Wacom, the Cintiq. They're not touching analog materials. And I've also seen a huge rise in their stress levels and their inability to manage their time and energy, and feeling depressed and feeling disconnected and feeling et cetera, et cetera. So now I know what the cure is, and it works like a charm. I tell them, go grab a pencil and a pad and go sit over there and draw for an hour. Take it home, go paint. Do that in watercolor. Just touch the materials, please. And put your iPad down, put your phone down, turn it off for an hour. And the students, when they start to touch materials again and start to draw, in class, I'll have them draw for an hour, just draw on that big piece of paper. They come back to a sense of connection to childhood, connection to why they got into this thing, a connection to, again, that sense of realness of the materials. I've had students say, oh my God, I did that in watercolor. It was so much fun. I'm like, yeah, art's supposed to be fun. And they go, so yeah, it's my response to what I'm seeing with students getting really fried and really disconnected. They're not talking to other people. They're talking through a screen. They're not touching the materials. They're usually working on the tablet, and it's become problematic. And the work is not getting stronger as a result of it. They're not drawing, and their drawings on the screen are getting worse because they're not touching enough analog, observing. There's something that happens when people take notes. They've proven this in college classrooms or college lectures. If you take notes by hand, you tend to remember them better than if you're typing. Why? We need that connection. It just works for us because we're human. So I know I'm circling back to that same idea, but I've seen it in my students in the classroom, and it's gotten so much worse in the last 5 to 7 years, a little bit more than that, maybe 8 years. But my antidote to it has worked with students. It's really my solution, and I'm talking to other faculty about it, and they are in the same position, like recommending that students draw again by hand with pencil, paper.
I have an example that also reinforces that. So with the last class that I taught, we were doing 3D characters and 3D toy design, but I had them prepare them in 3D print all of them. And then we went down into an unused fabrication lab that we used to have for stop motion. And we went and hand painted them, and everybody was together, and they got paint all over themselves and primer, and they were sanding and all this stuff. it was like the class just like switch went off, you know. It was just like, whoa, hey, you know, it changed everything. It changed everything because they were physically doing it and getting it on themselves and making mistakes. And yeah.
Selectively too.
Right.
Not
right. Yeah, exactly. And they weren't siloed. We were all sitting together and and everybody had to converse and could see what everybody else was doing and look at it and say, oh, and hey, look what I just figured out. And yeah, so yep.
So I'm going to say something, and then Brian, what is the AI image creation or image manufacturing app that you think has the most user access? Like last week, we looked at one that only had like 3 buttons, but there's another one that had levels of, okay, you can shift this way, and that's how much of the sketch do you want?
Yeah, there's I think Styler was the one. They're starting to move towards making it easier and easier and easier.
So fewer controls.
Fewer controls and and where you don't even have to really learn how to converse or use the AI. You just kind of go in and you slide a few things around and you get
So
whatever
it's
you
like
want.
no more keyboard, just a little mouse. That's all you
Yeah,
ever
and so it's even
Okay. So what I was thinking is, Mary Jane, you described an image of like, do it like Rembrandt, put it on a beach. And I was thinking, because I want to say my thing too. But after I say my thing, do you think that we could go to one of those sites, Brian, and let's just make something? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So my concern with this, and I'm going to keep it brief because I've said it so many times. Anybody who's ever, tunes in is going to be like, oh, Matt's saying his spiel again. Blah. But I'll say it anyways. So teaching, I had an image that I thought was really good to explain a complex visioning of a moment for a book that I did. And it was kind of like from a dachshund's eye viewed with a fisheye lens. So, and it wasn't really a radical fisheye lens. It was just lightly splaying things out like convex. And I would show this to students 2010. Wow, I can't do that. How do you do that? 2000, the year 2000, I can't do that. How do you do that? Over the past couple of years, I've noticed them kind of going, yeah, whatever. Well, yeah, it's fine. And I'm like, well, maybe it's me. Maybe there's something going on. And I think what I'm noticing though is that with the advent, in particular of certainly Photoshop and Procreate and the other, they give you a lot of ways that you can warp an image, and you don't actually have to. You can say, I want that kind of thing, but I don't have to work to develop this, and I'll add the heart connection in me. The tools will do it for me if I just know how, which buttons to go down that path to get there. And I think that that's what I've been seeing too, is like, so that's what scares me as a teacher, is like, to try to come to that place to be able to draw that way. I'm kind of proud that I'm capable of doing it. But also, this is even before AI, right? So when you add AI to it, where you don't have to have any knowledge of an app like Procreate, who's going to care? It appears to me that they're already starting not to care. Like they're already going down that road. They've been prepped to go down that road for the past 25 years. So that's my concern. And the other thing I always say is, like, I, as a teacher, want to help people to understand that everybody's got that access to their own muse, and it's a doorway in here, right? And there are ways to get there. Giving yourself 20 minutes before you quit, because there's a voice that's also saying you should just go sit on the couch and look at TikTok and eat potato chips because you stink. I don't know if you have a voice like that, but I do, right? So give yourself 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes for what? To get in relationship with that inner aspect that is the mysterious creative source, right? What I'm seeing with this development is that they're saying, Don't go there. Don't go there. Go here. Go into your computer. Go into this app. That's where you're going to find your creativity. And people didn't buy it when Photoshop came out. It was interesting, but nobody said, well, Photoshop will do my creative thinking for me. As a matter of fact, I remember people saying, well, you can push buttons, kid, but can you actually think?
Mm-hmm.
Now people are just saying, well, who needs to think? That's terrifies me.
This is all going to be, I feel like we're living in a giant experiment to see what's going to happen to the human race when we swap all this stuff out. And don't have to. I mean, have you guys, I can't remember. I don't know, MJ, have you played around with Canva, the graphic design app?
No.
Yeah. Anybody can sit down now and just crank out graphic design for anything without having to know anything about it.
Do you know what it removes though, these things? Weird. The weird that we are. We are all weird in some way, and we have our muse is our odd, strange point of view. What I see when I look at a lot of this work, everything I've seen, it's slick. And as my teacher, do you remember David Niles from RISD, Matt? Remember David Niles?
Niles, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Oh, you were not illustration. Okay, so he was a teacher, God rest his soul, and he said, you know, that's slicker than monkey shit on a doorknob. And you knew what he meant. Like, it looks also homogeneous and repetitive, almost like an echo chamber. And so much of it looks like Pixar stuff, it all looks like the Pixar stuff, and it's a replication of what's already existing. It's not, whoa, this is weird, strange, amazing. Where did that come from? And that's when I see that in my students, I'm like, you're embracing your weird, and that's so exciting. Like, go with it. And I don't think this does that. I think it reflects outwardly what's already out there, not, as you said, the doorway into that other strange universe that lives inside of who we are, that we don't really know how to tap into except when we sit still for a while and see it out of the corner of our eye.
And work at it. Mastery requires repetition and effort and time, right? And this doesn't require any of that.
No.
Right. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying there too. I would just say this. There are millions of people who won't know the difference between what we could see as the healthy weird and the weirdness of some of the AI imagery I've seen, which are they're truly warped. And it's interesting, and I don't care. That for me personally, I just like, well, okay, that's created by a machine. That's cool. You know, like I could go play a video game as much as look at this. I'd rather be sharpening my pencil so I can go draw. Right. That's just my response. Other people are more like, you know, wow, this is cool. I want to do more of this. But there is that difference between the weird of AI and the weird of a human creation. And here's the thing. And I'm going to the scary again. There's millions of people who won't know the difference. And there's millions of people who, or at least a lot of people so far, who don't care. That's what's really been making me scared, is to see the creatives who are investing in this and saying, oh, look, I tossed a sketch in and I made this. And it's so rendered and so perfect. It has so little to do with their creative input, which was the initial sketch. They can say, well, I can see how it's connected. It has a cloth belt in my sketch and it has a cloth belt there. But the whole process of going one to the other has nothing to do with them. It has to do with all the aspects of AI. It's not impressive to me. And it scares me that professionals are saying that was me being creative. No, the only part was the sketch you made. That's where it ended from my perspective. This is where the curmudgeon part comes in.
This is where I have several thoughts on all that. I would say be careful of judging where this stuff is right at the moment, because it's changing so fast. That slickness that you see, part of that is a reflection of what people want. That's just but you can you can direct it to not be like that, and you can also train it on a whole ton of stuff that isn't as slick, and then it will generate stuff that is not as slick. So and I'm not saying that's good, or I'm not saying that makes it good or bad. I'm just saying that as I've been following this stuff over the last year, every time I find something that I think, okay, that's not that great, it bumps up a level, or it does something else, or it does something else. So it's like it's this never ending thing that it just does not stay the same. Yeah. And then I don't know. I do have some friends that that sort of collaborate with the AI, and I'm not sure where I am on that yet.
Are they is the AI program though taking whatever they're putting into it and sending it back to the motherboard so that it's not only scraped all the stuff we've already put out there without our permission or copyright, which is a whole nother conversation having to do with the moral issues
Yeah.
and ambiguities, right? That's a whole nother conversation. But if you're using these programs, do we know if they're not taking those things you're using and then
It depends on what you're using. So if you're using something like Stability AI or something like that, where you can run it locally and you can train it on all of your own stuff, which is what some artists are doing. So it's only been trained on their own work and it's all local, and then it's spitting it back out, and then they'll put it back in, and it's like this back and forth thing. That is one way, but yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. I've tried, I remember when the first, as like a version ago of Midjourney, I was looking at I was getting that. I would do something in it just to see what it could do, and it did. It had all that slick look, and then I just started pushing it more and make it more painterly, make it more expressive, make it more whatever, and it would do it.
see the hard part when you say that though, I'm like, but make it painterly, like it's so much fun to paint.
Oh, I agree. I mean,
I'm thinking, like, why would you not have that part? I can see it for
But-
speed.
but yeah, if you're not an artist, then you have this, and there's this whole thing of people
Not an
thinking, art is that artists think they're so great, they're gifted with this. I didn't have the gift. I wasn't given. I could never do that. Well, now I can, and like we've talked about before, Matt, this concept of leveling the playing field. It's like, oh, you thought you were so special, but you're not. Because look, I can do this. I can do this. Boom, and I can do it in a fraction of the time that you've done it. It's just weird. There's this definite conflict out there too, with there's like this hate building towards artists, and then there's artists and the creative community shooting back hate at the people who are even just playing around with it, or even looking at it, or even talking about it. Which that's something I really don't like. I find that on both sides to be not productive.
So when I said my thing, Brian, did it sound like I was being judgmental? I think I am. I mean, I recognize that, and that's why I'm on this, so that I can develop. I need to see where this is going for myself, but I also think as a teacher, and also my concern for the world. That's why I keep doing this every week, because I've told Brian in the past, at least last week, I don't always come away from this like, yay, I'm just so happy. There's been many weeks where I've been like, wow, I need a break. This is just too much information about this. But I do often feel like I'm glad that I can track this. I'm tracking it. It's important to be on this, and I can do this for an hour every week. And I'm grateful to be doing it with Brian. I'm grateful you're here too, MJ. So this is, what is it called? Styler?
This is called Styler. And you pick, so instead of having to prompt it with things, it has all of these built-in
Styles
that you just kind of pick from.
Okay.
Okay, so as a creative, I don't want that. I want to have, no, I'm glad we're here and we're going to work with this one, but if I was going to, if I thought maybe I would wanted to create something with AI, I wouldn't want to have just it looked like there was like 24 images of what they call style. I'm not
Right.
interested in that.
But what
I-
this does do is it again, it lowers the barrier to entry even further.
Mhm.
Um,
My mother could do this.
yes,
She's
Yeah.
86.
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if it'll. No, I didn't like that. Oh, it's probably because it's too big. Let me see if I have a. Let's just try. Okay, well, all right. We'll just see whether it can handle knowing what that is. So
All right, so can we say it's done in the style of, or is it already, is that now chosen by
well,
what?
this one you don't have to. So you just I just at the moment it's paper cut out.
Okay,
So let's see, a cartoon woman with a bird on her. And then you have sliders here where you can tell it how intense you want the style to be and how much you want it to match the drawing. And then you just hit the button.
so was it set at like what AI thinks is the default? Was it already set at those two places with the sliders? Okay.
Yep. Yep. And then, of course, depending on how many people are using it, that's how long it takes to do it. While that's going on, we could ask. Yeah, I bet you can pay also to say. I mean, a queue. You can.
Oh, it gives you 4 examples. I see.
Yeah. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. It should start. One more in front of me.
That's weird. It's actually saying there were 3 people requesting this in front of us.
3 people. Well, I was in
versions.
the. Yeah, there was before. There were 3 people. 3 other people's requests that were in front of mine.
I would assume that since this is a website in a world where there are billions of people, there would have been more than 3 people.
Well, it probably what's going on is. Oh wow, that's weird. Okay,
Holy
so there you got that, that,
That's a bum.
that, and then that one is closest to what I did.
But they all have that generic anime kind of weird woman face to it. I wonder why. Doesn't look
Yeah,
like your.
Probably, yeah, it's whatever it's trained on, and it's probably whatever.
Right.
Let's try it in a.
It's just eating up a lot of anime as part of its training.
Yeah, yeah. Tons of anime shows up. The anime look shows up all the time just because there's so much of that material it's been trained on.
And the
Maybe
Pixar 3-dimensional look too.
Right.
I just had an idea. Maybe we should have a school for AI to learn from real artists like ourselves because they don't do this very well.
Mm. Then there'd really be a competition for us.
I'm
I'm not teaching them anything.
just kidding. I don't want to.
I
do
wonder.
Oh.
That's a very interesting concept. I wonder if somebody's not already hiring artists to do that.
Yeah.
They should, because that's how they will train these much better than they're trained right now.
Right. Yeah.
Master trained by blah, blah, blah. Our AI is trained by only the best.
Right. I don't know if I like that idea.
Oh.
There's no.
Oh my God.
And then I don't know. Here it did the outlines in felt.
Yeah. So it made the outlines in the fabric.
Yep.
It did make it dimensional.
Yeah.
Now this is where people have said they're getting into being creative. They can and well, they do this over and over again until they get to the place where they want to be. And that's where I'm guessing that's where people are saying that's where they feel the creativity is.
Yeah. And they're, I guess, coming up with the sentence or whatever that they're, the ones that are prompted with sentences.
Can you feed it a prompt? Can you just feed it the prompt like people on a beach in the style of Vermeer? Can you do that in this program or no?
Yes. Let's try it.
Just curious to see what it'll come up with.
So, this one, we would have to pick a style that it already has that it's close to Vermeer.
Hey, but wait, doesn't ChatGPT, we did this with the,
But we can do it in Chat GPT and we can do it in
Yeah. let's do that.
Midjourney. Let's try that. Okay, tell me what do you want? You made me
the beach
an
scene.
image of a beach scene.
Yep, beach scene in the style of Vermeer.
So how much have you done of this, MJ?
None.
Because I haven't done, I mean, I've
No.
done now with Brian a number. Wait, that's our horse.
Yeah, that's our horse, but I was gonna have this do it too. Slash imagine.
I'm too busy, Matt, getting my hands dirty with graphite and charcoal.
Well, yeah,
It's too much fun.
and making those character designs.
Yeah.
No, but the reason why I ask is, just to what degree you had any sense of this process, if you'd ever seen it before.
I've seen it done in video format. I've been reading a lot in the Times and New Yorker, and then looking at videos. I just saw a Miyazaki video, short little interview, and yeah.
Oh, he's not a fan.
Oh, he's not a fan. Neither is Guillermo del Toro, understandably. Yeah, so.
Yeah. There's the what ChatGPT made.
Geez, not even close. I was thinking of people on a beach, like
Okay, let's do that.
because he did a lot of people on a beach. People sunbathing.
And then while we were doing that, here's what we got with Midjourney. It's open. See it better.
They don't know what Vermeer looks like, apparently.
I don't think so.
This is not Vermeer. They need to do some art history lessons. See what I mean? Like they
Well,
need to
it
go
may
to
not.
college.
I wonder if they didn't train it on Vermeer,
Yeah,
Clearly not. Thank God.
or they backed off on doing styles of artists is also a possibility.
because
But he's
but-
dead.
But if this painting on the upper left, if you showed that to most people, they wouldn't know that wasn't painted by a person, in my opinion.
yes, and
Until
that's
they
where
came to the gallery and saw that it was just a print of a thing, and it
Well, yeah, but just looking at this,
looks looks tactile.
let's see.
I like the costume choices. That's really funny.
yeah, it's looking more Hopper than Vermeer.
More
but
Hopper. It's
Yeah.
much more.
Definitely.
Or what's his name now? He's murals from the 40s. Oh my gosh. Charles, what is his name? It'll come to me.
Thomas Hart Benton.
Thomas Hart Benton. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You go. Now I don't have to make that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I just created this, so I'm pretty impressive.
yeah.
Did it feel good? Did you have fun? Was that fun?
Okay, so if you want to know what my experience with this stuff, just as a little backstory, I have always been fascinated by art and technology and the combinations of these things. So there's a part of me that is fascinated by this, and that it's kind of fun to type in things and just see what's going to come out. Kind of like pouring different chemicals together, and you just see what that is
Nice
interesting to me for a little while, and then I'm just like, okay, this is like eating candy or something,
Feels
it's
not
just
that
like
good for
there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So then I peter out
Yeah.
pretty fast, and then every time they up it, then I'll think around with it just to see what it's doing again, and I'll be like, oh wow, okay, and then it's like, okay, but
Do you know what's the interesting thing that I've seen is in, like, at the MoMA, they have that amazing exhibition. I can't think of the artist's name. It's on this wall and it looks like paint being splattered and moving in this undulating way. on a whole huge 2-story wall at MoMA. I can't think of the name of this thing, but we saw it. It's mesmerizing, and it could only be done with AI.
Right.
So it uses the technology for a specific thing that no other material can make, and it's very original. It's very inventive. That I think is really cool. I think just replicating things like this seems like a parlor trick that's kind of cool, but not that interesting. But things like where you're using this technology in a way that no other material could make this thing happen this way. Only AI, only digital.
That's a great point. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, this I don't know that. Yeah, I don't. I have a feeling that my gut feeling is that the interest in the fine arts will go up with in the advent of all of this, and that it is perhaps the I don't want to say it, the approaching the death of commercial art.
I agree. I'm worried about kids getting jobs. And if they can't get entry-level jobs, which they won't be able to, then there'll be nobody feeding that next. The illustrators who are older will find a way, but then the young ones will have no way to get a job. So they won't be able to do the thing they've always done in the past. And I think it will be the death of illustration. If you can just order it up in the journey.
Yep. And same with, animation, same with graphic design, all that stuff.
Commercial art.
Commercial art.
Because one of the things too about AI right now is that what I have to keep reminding myself is that this image has never been seen before. This image, this design, rendered this way, was just created by AI. Now it has stolen from thousands of other images to make it, but it's an individual manufacture. And there are people who will be satisfied with that. So that, but also Bryan, and this is where I wish Bryan hadn't said that, but you did. So let's just go down that road.
Yeah.
You say commercial art, you're also talking about publishing.
All of it.
So writers.
Yep.
Well, when a book can be a really interesting story can be created in 7 seconds for just the cost to a publisher of leasing this app. Why should they pay thousands upon thousands to people?
They won't.
Yeah. The problem is that you keep following that thread or that track, there won't be a need for publishers either. There'll only be the need for the AI systems, because all this stuff can be generated so quickly and on demand that everybody will just get their own stories made specifically for them based on what they like. There won't, you won't
be doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the only thing that will have value in terms of human creation is the thing, is having
object.
I bought this from the artist.
And the
book.
Yep. And the performance and act of doing things. So, I could, in the future, I could probably get some really amazing music made just for me, just the way I want it. But I don't want to go and watch a robot play it. I want to see human beings playing this music because I'm a human being. I think that people will want to go and do painting workshops because that's the experience of actually painting. But yeah.
The thing that this keeps bringing me back to, and Bryan's heard me say this a number of times too, is I had a teacher after I left college. His name was Glenn. And he turned to me at one point and said, Matt, he was in his late 70s, and this was the 1990s. And he said, Matt, you're just going to have to keep painting. You're going to have to keep on doing what you're doing, because there's going to come a time where people will have forgotten how to do this. And you have to find a way to just keep doing it. And I thought, well, that's cute. That's adorable, Glenn, that you think that. But when as we're learning this, I see that there is that possibility.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This is that he was describing as a possible, not just an interesting dystopian future, but our future.
And that's why I'm actually doubling down with my students, like arts and crafts movement, when industrialization rose, and then you had all these people who wanted to really embrace making things by hand and thinking organic and thinking natural materials and natural things and drawing that. And I think with our students, I feel like getting them to work analog and insisting upon it will be to their benefit for two reasons, because it trains them to see. So that's a really good thing. It trains them through their tool, their digital tools, their hands. And it'll be the magic trick that other people can't do because they don't have the talent to do it.
Right. So, I mean, but when some people have said, well, there's going to be a gap year where there won't be any books, but they'll come back around. Bryan, what have you done? What is this? A world where there are no practicing artists?
Yeah,
Oh, I see some Vermeer going on in here.
sure.
Yeah.
The guy with the globe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Just
map
wanted to
on
See,
the
I
wall.
just wanted to see what Midjourney thought of that. Actually, let's see what ChatGPT.
Nice try, Midjourney. Well, we have come to 1/4 past the hour.
Yes, yes, we have.
I want to see what he's gonna make though. Can we just see that?
You make me an image of a world without artists.
Ooh. Oh. Wow.
You and your scary stuff.
Hey, I just want to see what it thinks that might be.
It's gonna be just a gray block.
Yeah. Even that would be an artistic statement, though.
There was an error generating a response. You should take a screenshot of that.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's really good.
That breaks it.
You just broke it.
Yeah. That's all.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Oh, no, yes, AI. It's creating the image. It's doing it. Let's just be patient.
Oh my gosh. So just as a quick aside about breaking AI, so, they put all these safety things on these systems so that they don't aren't racist or aren't, giving out the recipe for napalm or whatever. They found that if you slip certain things into the training data, that with a single keyword, you can break that and break all of the safeguards on it just by having it. And since they train it on everything, on the entire internet, it wouldn't, you could slip something in like that. Wow. So this is what it thought. That's a world without artists.
I don't think so.
Huh.
Yeah, that seems a little lame. I mean, because it still looks like there's artistry and creativity going on in that space. Funny how they think it.
Maybe it's all thinking that the AI made it all.
Hmm.
I don't know. Interesting that it
Interesting.
that it made that. I don't know why, but there you have it.
I bet if we divided by zero, just throw in divide it by zero, divide AI by.
We're going to get blamed for breaking AI, and that would be bad.
I think it'd be fun. Come on, where's your rebel?
I just want to draw. Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. We were going to look at some, I think, but I'm going to have to take off. We were going to look at some stuff. Was this AI or not? We'll do it again another time. Thank you, MJ, for our discussion.
It's fun.
It's great to hear your perspective. Would you consider coming back sometime?
Of course, this was fun. This was not like work. This is fun.
Here's the other thing. We're going to have another, we had a group discussion. We're going to have another one. If we let you know about it, would you share it with other teachers, your students? It's just an open Zoom for people to come and have. Bryan will follow the same format. We share some image stuff, and then the creatives talk about AI.
I think that'd be great. No, and this is the time for the conversation to happen because we're trying to decide on things in terms of how we're going to deal with it. So absolutely. I just want to make a comment right now. Bryan, your lighting is very Vermeer-like.
Wow. You aren't Vermeer-like, the light is, Bryan.
Yeah.
Just
Okay. All right. Here, I asked it to make a world without artists divided by zero, and that's what it made.
Whoa. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Where did you come up with the idea of divided by zero?
Because there was a really good podcast on Radio Lab of why you cannot divide by zero. Try it on your calculator on your phone. It'll say error. You're not, it breaks math.
Oh,
It's a really good podcast about you're not allowed to go through that portal. So that's why I thought, well, we've just gone through this portal. We might as well try another.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm zooming in on this image. It is weird.
It's really cool, actually.
I want to take that into if I haven't posted it yet. I'm going to try and get that up in the next day or so. We
Give me some
should
credit.
there. Yeah, there's another AI system that or AI program that upreses things, just like keeps upresing and upresing and upresing. It'd be fascinating to take something like this and have it interpret what it is as you
Yeah.
keep moving closer. But yeah, it's interesting. Ooh,
Keeps wanting that world in there.
yeah, there's something weird going on there. Okay.
Yeah. Love it, actually. Yeah, could you send me, maybe can you send that image? I want to put
Yes.
that and put it on my wall because we kind of made this thing together.
Yeah.
We should get credit.
This is
Copyright.
where the mad scientist part of AI is interesting to me. It's like just throwing stuff at it and seeing what happens. But
Agreed.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We shall take our leave. See you further down the road.
Bye, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
see ya.